There are over 86 million dogs in the United States, but only a select few are considered elite working or sporting dogs. From police and military canines to hunting and sporting dogs and everything in between, meet the dogs your dog aspires to be. Get ready to see man's best friend in a whole new light. This is Unleashed. Every year for the last 22 years, canine teams from across the country and all over the world head to Vohne Liche Kennels in Indiana for the Canine Olympics, a week of competition, training, and support. In the canine world, training is paramount. It can mean the difference between life or death. And the Canine Olympics offers canine teams an unparalleled training opportunity with a little competition sprinkled in to make everyone better.
Canine Olympics was started by myself and a guy named Steve Stoops, who's my best friend. And we did it to give the people in the Midwest the dog handlers, another avenue to work their dogs. We believe in competition. We're both athletes our whole life, so we believe in competition. We believe it brings out a lot in people. We started it locally here. It actually got started in Muncie, Indiana. And the first 3 years were down there. And it started out with 15, 20 competitors, and we set it up strictly cop-oriented, police, military police, prisons, and as realistic as we could. We made the rules very basic so that the guys out there could come in with their street dogs and put themselves against other people. And it's a lot of fun. Started out that way, and then it just grew. And after the third year, we moved it back here to Vohne Liche Kennels because we needed more room, and because it was growing. It went from 20 to 30 to 50, 60, 75, and I believe last year was 140. And they started coming from all over. It was a Midwest type thing, mostly our guys, but we really wanted other people from other kennels to come, and because I think we get better as we work with other people and see how they're doing what they're doing. So it just started growing. Overseas started, we were doing a lot of work overseas, Brazil, Turkey, South Africa, all over the place, Australia, and all of them started coming. And that really added something to it, because now we're getting, what's going on around the world, and our guys are having to compete against them. And I think at first they didn't think, okay, this is coming from Brazil. Well, those boys came in here loaded for bear. And anytime you get the competition coming up, it takes everybody out. But it's a great thing. It's a week of training, hard training. We were bringing in the best people in the industry to be the judges. I brought them in from California, overseas, all over the place. And it just started growing. Now people look forward to it. It's kind of a mainstay in the canine community. It's a seminar, and we do classes during it. It's a training opportunity that these guys can't get sometimes, because this is a big place. It's over 600 acres, and we've got access to thousands of acres. And we put these guys through things that maybe they don't have time or the resources to do back home. I want more people from other kennels. I want other people involved in this. It still gets that stigma that it's a Vohne Liche thing. No, it's not. We just happen to have a big place to do it in. It's all cop-oriented, but it's training. If you don't win a single thing, remember there's 150 of some of the best dogs and dog handlers in the nation and around the world. And these guys get mad if they don't take in the top 3. Man, if you place in the top 100, you've done something. And mainly it's to get them training. I think it's to identify shortcomings so they can go home and train on something throughout the year.
For your active dog, not just any dog food will do. It takes special care and nutrition to support their energy to work and play. That's why we made Kinetic Performance Dog Food. Each Kinetic formula is made with 3 animal proteins and no fillers like corn, wheat, or soy. This lets you feed less and still get more energy, faster recovery, and better weight maintenance. If health and performance matter to you, give Kinetic a try. We build it for our dogs, but you'll love it for yours.
When it comes to elite canine and handler training, the best of the best turn to one place, Vohne Liche Kennels. Vohne Liche is the premier full-service canine training center and detection service provider in the world. Their world-renowned training methods and experienced training staff produce the best canine and handler training available anywhere. When only the best will do, join over 5,000 law enforcement, government, and civilian agencies who count on Vohne Liche Kennels.
Canine Olympics, again, we started out with just a few events, and now it's grown huge, and we try to mimic everything a police dog or a military dog or a prison dog does in the field. We've got a single-purpose drug, single-purpose bomb. We've got dual-purpose drug, dual-purpose bomb. We've got the common events like obedience. We have a confidence course that really challenges people, and that's my baby. I change it. That's the other part about the Olympics. A lot of these organizations, they do the same thing every year. So these guys just start training for it. Here, it's different every year. It mimics what happens on the street. The cop doesn't know what's going to come up. He has to react to it, and then he has to use his dog and do it the best he can. So we do drugs, bombs, tracking, obstacle course, obedience. Try to cover everything. It's a training opportunity that these guys can't get sometimes because this is a big place. It's over 600 acres, and we've got access to thousands of acres. And we put these guys through things that maybe they don't have time or the resources to do back home. Training is behavior modification. Training is shaping behavior. And whether you're training a police dog or a dog to do well in your living room, it's based on the same principles. And you watch guys work, and you're a dog enthusiast. You'll pick up things on what's important about the heel, what's important about the long stay. To be a dog handler out there, a police dog handler, well, even the civilians, they spend more time with their dog than the military or the cops do, because that's their hobby and that's their love. The cops, the good ones, it's their hobby and their love too, but it's also their job. So they're constantly working with their dog, trying to make it better. And every time they go on a deployment, they see something that they missed, and they start working on that. Every time they go up to the Olympics, they see something that someone else was doing, and they steal it, and they make their dog proficient at that task because they see how important it is. When you're putting your life on the line, it changes the way you look at things. It's a diminishing skill. If you don't stay on it, it can go away slowly but surely. Some of the best trainers in the world are the biggest thieves. They come here and they see what someone else is doing and they go, wow, that might work for the problem I'm having. And if they don't steal it, they're not doing the right thing. Watching other people, you pick up ideas, you pick up things that might work for your dog. Understanding that training is a never-ending. And the cops, they get that. And a lot of it comes from, they come here and they get their butt spanked by some small town guy that took the time to teach his dog to stay. They go back home and hopefully they work on that, somebody that helps save their life or save someone's life by seeing it done and doing it right. A dog handler, if he's a good dog handler and he's wanting to do things right, he's training all the time. Like I said, these skills diminish, and if they don't stay on them, dog's dog. He wants to be a dog. He'll do everything that you ask him to, but you got to reinforce it, and you've got to make him understand that this is what I want and this is how I want it, and that takes time. The good dog handlers are the ones that work on their dogs when nobody's around, the ones that work on their dogs when nobody's standing there to appreciate it. It never stops, it never ends. Our classes, the Olympics, seminars that we go to, just meeting people from other places, just watching, talking. I've picked up things from brand new handlers. Haven't got a clue what they're talking about, but they'll say something and it'll just floor me. No, you can learn from anyone, and if you listen and get with people, we have no prejudices here. I don't care where you got your dog. Come, whoop our butts. Teach us, make us work harder, make whoever's winning work harder. Treat it as a training day. Don't treat it, oh man, I didn't win. So what? Come here, got to train on a 600-acre facility. It's got everything that you could imagine, and you don't have that back home. Come. It's not expensive at all, and the amount that you can gain is worth its weight in gold. You learn as much watching someone else as you do doing it yourself. Absolutely. Even in our classes, we let them go through the particular exercise and then go put the dog up and come back and watch other people. Watching it happen makes it easier to disseminate what's being told to you. You just keep getting badgered by one of us. You know, you end up putting on blinders or closing your ears off. Watching this competition, watching these guys handle their dogs, and you're a dog enthusiast with a dog at home, you could pick up a ton of things to work on.
Do you have passion? Do you have drive? Of course you do. But do you spend your days doing what makes you happy? If you're not doing what you love, you're wasting your time. Top Tier Canine is not just a dog trainer school, it's a business school. We seek those looking to join the pack. We are driven, we are passionate, and we are strengthened by each successful graduate. Time to work some dogs.
I need you to get me out of the country, out of here, away.
All in exchange for a sip of coffee?
Yeah, it's Black Rifle coffee. Let's try some.
Later, loser!
Why don't you head over to blackriflecoffee.com and get yourself set up with a coffee club subscription.
So I know you feel protected in the suit. Don't make any sudden movements without me there giving specific instructions. You got it?
Dogs love it. I heard that you just bought insurance online. You really should work with somebody like Tom, who has the experience and knows what he's doing.
Oh, really?
Safari Insurance is an independent agency. They represent companies like Auto Owners Insurance. They guide you by showing you all the coverages to keep you safe. Then you decide what fits you best. They guide, you decide.
There's no doubt the Canine Olympics offers some incredible competition and training opportunities, but it's also a place for the canine community to come together to network and support each other. At the Olympics this year, we had the privilege of meeting a young man who aspires to be a canine handler, and we saw firsthand just how caring the canine community can be. The Kinetic Dog Food Handler of the Year's story should certainly inspire you.
So we are the Anderson family. My name is John. This is my wife, Sue, and our son, Caleb. We also have his twin sister, Caitlin, and Haley, who is our oldest daughter. And we live in McCordsville, Indiana, and we have 3 4-legged children at home as well, including V2, who is our Malinois that was donated to us from Vohne Liche. So,
our son obviously is a twin, and perfectly healthy up until Christmas Day of 2016. And we were visiting family in Iowa, and Caleb had what was described as the perfect storm of illnesses. He had multiple diagnoses that hit his body all at once. He had strep, scarlet fever, full-blown orbital cellulitis that basically shut down his body. So we took him into Peyton Manning at that point, and we didn't really know what we were getting into. It was the first time we'd ever taken our kids to the hospital, really for anything. And they ruled out leukemia right away. And from that day was the day we had to start fighting for our son. We spent 1.5 years with the hospitals in Indiana and even some in Kentucky and Cincinnati. And his case just continued to be very rare. Nobody had seen it. And what was happening is when Caleb would get an infection, his body does not, basically, his body can't get the infection out. So like you and I, if we get an infection, you know, we have our fevers, we get the runny noses, but our body works it out, and his can't. So what they end up having to do is go in and surgically remove it. But what we were finding is they would remove it and 7 days later he'd have another infection. So we did this battle for a good 1.5 years. And then at that point, we said we needed to get to a place that had either seen what we was going through or just was diverse enough to be able to give us some hope to find out what was wrong. And it was at that point that we made the decision to go to Boston Children's. We met with the ENT was the first physician we met with, and at that point they started the process to really figure out what was going on, and they found out he has a immune disorder called common variable immune deficiency, which basically means common infections his body can't fight. So like strep, he can't fight, colds, he can't fight, and so he has that, and he also has multiple urticarias, meaning he's allergic to water and exercise. So his body, when those types of things happen, it creates an excessive amount of antihistamines. So he swells, he itches, he has hives. And so it really makes everyday life very challenging. He has chronic sinusitis as well. And then cilia dysfunction, which again, cilia dysfunction means he has no, cilia lines the inside of your lungs, your nasal cavities, and he has none. So he doesn't even have a barrier to any infection, common cold, anything. It goes right into his system and it adheres almost as if it's glue and stays in there until we remove it. Those are kind of the main thing that really hinders his everyday activity, everyday life. And so we've been traveling to Boston Children's for about 3.5 years now, and that's where he gets the majority of his care. And he does weekly infusions, and we're just starting daily injections and then mounds of medication to just try to give his system some sense of normal. You know, again, unfortunately for Caleb's case, there's no cure, there's no miracle drug that we're ever gonna get. So it's teaching him now how to live with this type of stuff and try to let him be a kid as much as he can, so.
Hi, I'm Jim Canagi and I'm from Lafayette, Indiana. I'm a canine handler in Tippecanoe County, where Lafayette is. It was, I mean, when we were introduced to him, he was introduced to us by his mother, Sue, and she said that he's got a passion for dogs, and that's where you know, he started watching us work, and you know, got closer and closer with our dogs, and then we finally let him work with Vasco, and that just Mom said that. That's really helped him out tremendously, and you know, since that training date, we've been meeting, consistently, and I'm letting him train Vasco, work with Vasco before he passed, and now he's working with my current dog Luna, and you know, he's just continuing that drive to be what he wants to be, his ultimate goal in life, canine handler.
Jim Kenogi gave me a call. He told me about a young man from his area that was ill. Had some serious problems, but was so into canine. Jim said that he'd come to his training times and work his dog with him, and this kid was super into it, and he wanted to be a dog handler. And Jim and I talked for a little bit. We came up with the idea, why don't I donate a dog to him, a dog that was a police dog, trained in everything that police dogs are trained in, but super handleable and super friendly, and we went through our kennels and took some time, but we found the right dog for him, and we ended up making it a gift to him, letting him know that we're there to support him, that if he wants to be a dog hunter, we'll do all we can to help him.
Are you tired of the same old toolbox that doesn't keep your gear organized, clean, or protected? Then you need a cam locker. Our exclusively designed aluminum toolboxes have hefty T-handles, insulated lids, and feature the cam locker system, the toughest aluminum toolbox lock. Proudly manufactured in the USA, Cam Locker will be the best and last toolbox you will ever own. So keep your tools and gear secure with a Cam Locker toolbox, the key to security.
Feel like the season just got started? Well, there's no reason to stop hunting now. At Highland Hunting, you can enjoy a great upland experience through the end of March. Located in southeast Iowa, we have over 1,200 acres of diverse upland habitat with the best flying and wildest birds you'll find at any upland outfitter. Our incredible staff and great accommodations let us show you a true Iowa upland experience at Highland Hunting. Give us a call and schedule your next adventure today.
No matter what you feed, sometimes your dog needs a little help to keep them at the top of their game. For some dogs, it can even mean the chance to just live a normal, healthy life. Our Kinetic supplements are formulated to meet specific needs to get and keep your dog at optimal health and performance. Your dog will love them, and you'll be amazed at the difference they make. If your dog needs an extra boost, give Kinetic a try. We build it for our dogs, and you'll love it for yours.
So Caleb and I were actually at Dayton PD with Jim Canagi. We call him Nugget. It's way easier than his real name, but we go down and see Jim quite a bit to just do some training with him. And Nugget has always been a huge supporter of Caleb, and so when we come back from Boston's, we would go and hook up with him and, just give Caleb an outing. And that first started with his dog Bosco.
We were training one day at the Metro O course. I had invited them up to train Caleb and the Sue and everybody, and they showed up, and I knew that by watching Caleb, he was sluggish, and I was watching Sue as well, and I noticed that she was kind of looking a little down. We spoke briefly about what was taking place, and she had just got back from Boston, and they didn't get the news they wanted.
We had come back from Boston, and Caleb wasn't doing well. He wasn't feeling well, and Nugget had asked how we were doing, and I just flat out said, it's not going well. We're at a point where we don't know how to help Caleb. And so he again had asked if we thought any more about getting him a dog, and I was like, no. I was like, it's just too expensive. These dogs range from $20,000 to $33,000, and on top of what, Boston costs, I'm like, there's no way. And he was like, well, just let me make some calls.
Jim Canagi gave me a call. He told me about a young man from his area that was ill, had some serious problems, but was so into canine. Jim said that he'd come to his training times and work his dog with him, and this kid was super into it, and he wanted to be a dog handler. And Jim and I talked for a little bit. We came up with the idea, why don't I donate a dog to him? We went through our kennels and took some time, but we found the right dog for him, and we ended up making it a gift to him, letting him know that we're there to support him, that if he wants to be a dog hunter, we'll do all we can to help him.
We came up here, and Nugget was like just a kid in a candy store, and we were excited, and we got to bring the whole family, and V2 came out and went right to Caleb, and it was just kind of love at first sight. So it was just a kind of a really big emotional day for all of us. We didn't know what we were getting into really, but it was such a blessing to, it's just been so neat to see how it's all fallen in place.
The canine community is it's just like the family. It's a tight-knit community where being a dog handler is above and beyond, and what you have to do to make that happen, and to see the young man keep striving with what he has going on to try to be in that group, and we welcome him with open arms. And Caleb is the handler of the year for 2021 for the VLK, and the whole week competing with other teams, 106 dog handlers, I believe, this year. And Caleb, he was actually at the awards ceremony, handed out awards to each and every handler that won something. He was at the opening ceremonies, and he set the tone for this week. And it's been pretty much Caleb's week.
We just want to let everybody know that we're a family that never asked for anything. So when things like this are donated and given to us, our goal is just to give back even more. And we can't thank Vohne Liche enough, and Kenny and what he does. Jake Robinson taking on the training of V all the way in Tennessee, Kinetics for the dog food and the canine handler of the year. There's so many more, all the police departments that continue to just reach out and love our son. Like, we will never be able to say thank you enough, but just know that we will continue to give back, and we will continue to, use V as an avenue to share the good that continues to go on within this community.
Well, if you spend enough time around dogs and handlers, you'll find out that dog people are the best people. In the way that Vohne Liche Kennels and Kinetic Dog Food and Operation Mutt 22 and really the entire canine community came together to support this young man is all the proof that you need. If you want to learn more or get involved, check out the Fight Courageously #Team Caleb page on Facebook and learn about all the ways that Team Caleb is giving back to the canine community. Well, unfortunately, it's all the time we've got left this week. I hope you enjoyed learning about the Canine Olympics and were inspired by Caleb's story, and we'll see you next time on Unleashed.